Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. Same to you. First of all, this is the third time that I'm here.
Is this the charm then?
No, and this is something very interesting in my case
Yes.
because the three times that I've been here, I've been called,
Yes.
which is great.
Thank you for your synchronicity.
Yes, I will say we both are in synchronicity.
Yes.
And now my real question is, I can even really formulate the question because it's beyond my understanding.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Let
No,
me
it's
finish.
not. No,
Okay,
it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, 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 no.
Just listen and wait.
No, 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 no.
He did the same thing last time. So anyway,
If it was beyond your understanding, you wouldn't know there was a question.
again, he got me, right? Anyway, the theme, if I recall well, that I have really bad memory, is manifestation, right? How to manifest the thoughts.
The manifestation space, yes.
Yes.
It's how you do manifest, becoming more conscious of how you already manifest. Not how do you manifest, not and if you are learning it. No, you already know how to manifest. It's becoming more aware of how you already manifest.
Yes, that is exactly what I still dealing with this question.
Yes. What question is that?
I've been having, well, I have one, I'm afraid to have regression, just like my wife says. And when I have it, it's always something different. I wouldn't say weird because we all are a little bit weird, but it's great.
All right.
The last one was some sort of an animal, like an eagle and unicorn and all of those things.
Yes.
And every time that I am in those mental state,
Yes.
I just don't want to come back.
So, don't. Until you do.
Well, this is exactly the question, because if I come back, I would love to come back and manifest that reality here.
No, not necessarily. But you
Why
can
not?
manifest the energy of that reality in the form in which it will work where you are. It doesn't have to look like it does on the other level. It needs to look like it needs to look on the level that you're operating on, but the energy will be the same. You're just under the mistaken impression that it has to look the same. It doesn't look the same on different levels, but it's the same energy.
That is exactly why the question might not be beyond my understanding, but your answer it is. How can I manifest something that is some sort of in dreams or in another reality? And if my feeling to manifest it here, the same level, the same degree, or even better if it's possible in this
Yes.
reality.
Well, the imagination you had, the image you had, the symbol you had on that level has a certain feeling, has a certain state of energy being to it. All you have to do is remember what that felt like, and you'll be in the same state of being. Then acting from that state of being, you will manifest whatever form it needs to look like in this reality.
All right, let's stop right there.
Oh, all right.
I feel and I feel that moment, that energy.
Wait a
and I
minute,
feel
wait a minute,
tears in
wait
my
a minute,
eyes.
wait a minute. You just told us to stop.
Yeah, to stop.
Oh, how
because
come
I'm-
you're still talking?
Because you're the one who's going to stop while I'm talking. Other than that, you are answering something that is not yet the question.
Don't you understand that I'm having some fun with you?
Of course, we both are having fun.
All right.
Yeah, other than that, there is no point to be here, and I love this.
All right.
Now,
So,
the question, manifesting that reality, that energy right here in the same way, how can I do that? Or if it's
I am
possible
telling
or not.
you that you don't need to do it that way. The point is some symbols on certain realities don't work in other realities. It has to manifest in a way that is relevant to the reality that you're manifesting in. It doesn't have to look the same. It often won't look the same. You are focused on the surface appearance instead of the energy of the thing. Stop focusing on the surface appearance. Do you know what a tesseract is?
No, I don't.
Do you know what a cube is?
A cube? Yeah.
Yes, a cube. All right.
Yeah.
If you imagine seeing a cube, and let's say each face of the cube, you could see, maybe it's transparent and you can see all the way through the cube? Yes?
Yes.
You have that in your mind?
Yeah, I'm putting that in my mind.
All right. Now, the cube is the way it manifests in your particular reality. In a higher reality, it's a tesseract. And what that means is, when you look at one face of the transparent cube, you are seeing to the back of the cube, right? You can see the other face on the other side, yes?
Yes.
Because it's transparent. But on a higher level, that's actually a different cube. And when you go to the next face and you see the back of the cube, that's actually a different cube. Now, in your reality, a transparent cube is simply going to be a cube from every direction. It's not going to be 6 different cubes. But on a higher level, it will be. So if you go to the higher level and you see the tesseract that is actually a multitude of cubes overlapping in the same space, different cubes, different volumes, you can understand the energy of that. And then when you see the cube in your reality, by giving it the same energy, the same state of being, you can get the same effect that the tesseract gave you, but a tesseract doesn't manifest in your reality. You can't insist that it does in the same way because it may not need to in order to give you the same effect in your life. Does that make sense?
Sort of. So that means the manifestation, no matter how we want it to, or we strongly feel,
Yes.
it won't work.
It may not work. What I'm saying is don't insist on it, or you may be overlooking the fact that what can easily look like a unicorn on one level might only show up in your reality as a horse. But if it's the same energy, if it's the symbol that represents the same state of being, why ignore the fact that the energy has come to you? You've manifested it, but you've manifested it in the symbol that works in your reality so that it will work in your reality instead of being something that has to fit itself in your reality because most of your reality says unicorns don't exist. So why insist that the form has to be the same when the effect is the same, which is the point?
So therefore, manifestation also has to do with the type of reality or dimension that you're living.
Absolutely. This is called the resonance of similars.
Wow.
So the idea is, and it works in many other ways. Let me put it to you this way. You know those ESP tests that many of your scientists are often doing with people who say they are psychic?
Yeah, I heard.
And they say, well, I have some cards here. I want you to tell me what card I'm looking at. Now, the person doing the test may be looking at the ace of spades. And the so-called psychic, in getting the vibration, may say, oh, it's the Queen of Hearts. And the person doing the test says, no, you are wrong. You are not psychic. What they're forgetting and overlooking is the resonance of similars, which means the ace of spades to the person doing the test energetically may be representative of a winning card. To the psychic, maybe they played a card game once in which they won the card game with the Queen of Hearts. So to the psychic, the Queen of Hearts has the same energy, a winning card. So they're not wrong energetically. They're picking up on the winning card energy that the tester is holding in their hand that simply to the tester looks like the ace of spades, but doesn't look that way to the psychic because they have different symbols for expressing the same idea. Does that help illustrate the point?
Really help and put me in more trouble.
Congratulations. Happy to help.
Okay, let's see.
No, that's enough for now.
All right, it's enough for now. Thank you.
Thank
Bashar.
you. Get on your unicorn and ride
Next
on.
time I'll make it.
And by the way, symbolically, in terms of imagining and manifesting on that level the unicorn, it's sort of a symbol of helping you get the point.
Hi, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Thank you to you as well. I've been having some health issues the last 7 years, and I think I've been making some good progress on it, but I figured I'd get your medical opinion.
I do not give medical opinions.
Your energetic opinion, how about that? Or just your opinion in general.
First of all, on the physiological level, we do not do health readings, nor do we give any kind of real health information in that sense at this point, because we've delivered everything we need to deliver, and therefore, as a reminder, if it's not something that you've already done, the first step physically is to completely and thoroughly as possible detox your body. Once you have done that, whatever symptoms remain are the symptoms you're actually dealing with of a dis-ease, because 80 to 90% of so-called disease symptoms in your society are actually the result of toxicity in your system.
Yes.
So once you detoxify, you'll at least know what you're actually dealing with, and in fact, most of it may actually go away. Energetically, of course, as we have already discussed, you have to start looking at what you're getting out of having the experience, what you are learning that you might otherwise not have learned.
Absolutely. And the last 7 years has been a process of totally detoxing, like taking a magnifying glass to every aspect of my life, relationships, physical environment, food, everything, and going through and doing my best to figure out what's serving me, what isn't.
All right.
And I do realize that this entire experience, it's sort of like this boot camp to really like set me on the straight and narrow.
All right.
So that I can be capable of more. So I am seeing it as a blessing.
All right.
And after hearing you talk earlier about self-limiting beliefs, like I have felt like I'm blocked, and I learned just minutes ago that like I have that belief that I am blocked and therefore I'm blocked.
Yes.
The core of the question is, so I'm going to continue to do that work on beliefs. Is there some sort of toxin in my environment that I'm missing? Because there's like a million different variables, and I'm just curious if anything pops up.
I have one suggestion.
Okay.
Say that in your environment, perhaps there are a dozen variables
Okay.
instead of a million. Doesn't that make it feel easier already?
It really does. Thank you.
Remember, pay attention to what comes out of your mouth, because you may be creating way more difficulty in your challenges than you need to, just by the way you're framing the experience or your relationship to it. You follow?
I follow.
So maybe there is a thing that you need to become aware of. It doesn't mean that there are a million things you need to become aware of.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, don't you feel a little overwhelmed when you say it that way?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's keep it down to manageable levels.
Okay.
This is a good practice for all of you in any challenge that you have. Start with a version of it that's on a manageable level according to your belief system. If you say, there are a million variables here I need to look at, well, you almost don't even want to get off the couch. But if you say, okay, there's one thing perhaps that I could research, I could investigate, I could look at. Well, that's manageable. I'll take it a step at a time. I'll start with that. If there's another one, then it'll come at a point and in a way that I can manage that too, because I'll have built on my experience with dealing with the first one. So at least make it in manageable steps, if nothing else. Yes?
Thank you.
Now, in what way has the so-called health issue expressed itself physically?
So some levels of fatigue, but for me it's mostly cognitive, difficulty with memory and concentration. My main complaint, I guess, would be difficulty handling stressful situations. A lot of times my brain will just completely...
I will ask you one physical question.
Absolutely.
You might want to check and see if your electrolytes are depleted.
Thank you.
Yes?
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Will that do for that?
That is a great first step. Thank you.
All right.
Another question on fear versus intuition and being able to differentiate between the two.
You can't tell the difference between fear and intuition?
I mean, most of the time, like they're both voices seemingly in my head, right?
Don't they feel different? Or is it that you have an intuition and then you have a fear about it?
That could very well be the case.
That's different.
Yeah.
You ought to be able to tell the difference between the intuition and the fear that might be a separate experience about the intuition. If you think about it that way, look at it that way, set it up that way, maybe it will be easier for you to suss out what the fear is being generated by, what negative beliefs is generating the fear. If you don't assume that it's difficult to tell the difference between fear and intuition, but that you know when you're having an intuition, and then you can recognize when you're having fear about what you're intuiting, that may give you something easier to work with.
Okay.
Yes? So you're not smashing them together where you can't tell them apart. Because that's a definition. Your definition is smashing them together, making it more difficult to tell them apart. So have a definition where you say, no, my intuition is clear when it's happening, but I realize that separately, I'm having a fear reaction to it. Well, now I have something to work with because I can separate the two and see them both clearly for what they are, yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
That does help. One last question.
Yes.
In your previous videos, I've seen people ask questions a couple times about, you can call it the downfall of the financial situation or like the evolution of it.
Yes.
And I'm curious how much cryptocurrency plays into that.
Not much.
Not much?
No.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask a general overall question. Nobody needs to answer, but you can ponder it. In many of these conversations, many of you come up to us and say, well, I've seen you in your previous videos say this. I've seen you in your previous videos say that. How come nobody comes up and says, I've seen you in your future videos say this, and your future videos say this? Let's just let that question sink in.